welcome back to the fifth mindset principle of how to regain your power in a crisis. And this is personally one of my favorites, and that is prayer and gratitude. And I'm going to share my screen here as I've been doing. And so, yeah, the power of prayer. And you know, we all have different orientations, spiritual orientations, for sure. But whether you call it God or the divine or Allah and so on, we know that there is a supreme being. 90% of the planet believes in a supreme being. And I believe, in my experience and many people's experience, is that by communicating and having a relationship with God, and praying, that God can influence our life. I've absolutely experienced that on a multitude of times. I have lots of evidence that I've collected that that is true, especially the power of prayer needed when we're under the gun. Or when it seems rather hopeless. And we've all had those experiences. And so, whatever that is for you, believing in this almighty divine intelligence, God, can help us through difficult times. And many people who are going through a crisis and other people are praying for them will say that they felt the prayers, they felt the support. And many times there's miracles that are happening, especially with people's health, or their finances, or getting a job opportunity, and so on. And so my experience with this is when we'd sold our home and downsized from a large home, and bought several rental properties, and we did a lot of work on them. And one of them, and so I'm sharing the power of prayer here in this example. There was water damage, both from a foundation, and as well as a septic backup leak. And when the inspector, the insurance inspector agent, came in there to assess it, he noticed both. But he chose to focus on the fact that there was evidence of a foundation leak. And he says, yeah, I'm going to recommend this not get covered and supported by a claim, because it's a foundation leak, and insurance companies do not insure foundation leaks. So we had put $28,000 into repairing this basement. And we didn't have $28,000 not to get reimbursed. So that weekend, I'm praying consistently. I'm praying with belief. I'm praying with deep emotion. We needed this insurance claim to be approved because it was a legitimate claim, and it was for $28,000. And thank God that early that next week, I got a phone call to say, yes, we've approved your claim, and it'll be processed accordingly. So that to me, and many other powerful examples of answered prayer, and you have your own as well, I'm sure, or people who have examples of prayer. And similarly, gratitude is the same kind of thing. It's being thankful for everything that we do have, especially living here in Canada. We are one of the best countries in the world to live in. It's not perfect, but it's one of the best. I believe that we are blessed to be living here in Canada. And that's a healthy perspective, an attitude of gratitude, and enables us to see all the positive things that are happening. Again, going back to, what evidence are we collecting? All the negative things, or are we collecting the positive things? So gratitude is a great way to collect those positive things. In fact, every day now, I've been doing a gratitude journal. I do it at night, just before you go to bed. And I write out the 5 things that I'm grateful for that day. And it just reminds me of all the positive things that are happening, that I am grateful for. And it's a great way to go to bed, and to go to sleep with that in your subconscious as well. And so, yeah, let's have an attitude of gratitude, and we just will have more joy and love, and we'll be more gracious and more at peace as we do. And I'm just going to share a quote here, that I think is a great quote that reflects this, about gratitude, and that is, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, and confusion into clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, and a house into a home, and a stranger into a friend. My Melody Beattie. So let's continue with our prayer and gratitude, and be blessed.